Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. Now, I must admit, I'm a bit hyped to get stuck into recording today, right? But defenders are probably the least sexiest position to buy on SoRare because there's a lot of choice, there's a lot of steady eddies, there's a lot of kind of cheat code guys and whatever as well. But like we've been doing on this playlist, we're looking for the off-season gems, okay? So in this video today, we're going to go through the MLS defenders that you could probably catch off-season, really underpriced. Before you watch any more of the video, it means a lot to me, guys. Hit the like button, that's the cost of entry. Hit the like button. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, of course. If you're not on SoRare yet, why are you watching this video? And before you join, hit the link down below. It supports the channel, means a lot to me. Thanks a lot, guys, and let's get stuck into it. Now, if you don't really follow the MLS or don't know too much about it, you've probably seen this guy and went, oh yeah, I know that guy's name, and just moved past him. He's had a great season in Columbus this year. Columbus did very well, and this guy was a big part of it. The price he's floating about for the now, in my opinion, is fucking criminal. He's a very solid defender, and when you can see the scores are there for yourself. You know, how often he gets over 50 is very powerful. And when Columbus, when Columbus get into a good vein of form, they're playing every week, etc. Eloy Roomans in goals, etc. This guy is an absolute snip, an absolute steal at 0.04 ether in terms of a rock solid, steady defender for MLS. Now, Andy Farrell, to be honest with you, I knew the guy's name come before this released on SoRare, only because like maybe FIFA 18 or something like that, he was like the fastest right back in MLS. But I think this card might have been like bronze or silver or something, so he wasn't that great a card to have. But when I was building a wee America team and just fucking about with it, he was pretty much the only guy I always went and picked up. And because his pace was so high, he was quite expensive on FIFA despite being a bronze or a silver card or whatever. Anyway, Bruce Arena has converted him into a centre-back, so knowing the fact that he used to be a right-back, I know he's quite quick. I've seen New England a little bit when he got to the playoffs, but look at his scores for a right-back playing centre-back. Bruce Arena is like, he's like Sir Alex Ferguson in MLS, kinda, in terms of he's like the big kind of godfather kind of figure. He's been around forever, he's done it all, seen it all, whatever. And if he's playing this guy centre back, he's obviously coaching him well, and I've got faith in Bruce Arena's choices basically. So if he's picking him for centre back, and I would expect New England to do better than they did this year, even though they did quite well in the playoffs. They just snuck in the playoffs. I'd expect them to probably get a much more comfortable standing in the division before they hit playoffs. And again, you can see the scores the guys hitting from centre back. It's very credible, and the price, look at that, it's practically free, isn't it? Now, I thought I would talk about this guy for a wee second. I know very little about him, right? But being at Gimnasia La Plata, he does offer you a little bit of a differential option. He's under 23 as well, which is nice. His scores, he's got some highs in there, but as you can see, just with the way this year has went out, he's not had many fixtures. Argentinian football get hit quite bad by Argentina, and South America in general get hit pretty hard by COVID. So there's not been too much football down there. And as you can see, the last couple of game weeks that they've had a nice little run of fixtures to bounce off of. Because you look there, before game week 112 when he shot a 90. Before that, they hadn't played since game week 48, which is probably about 3 months or so. So yeah, I would expect to see some more scores coming out of this guy as they get more fixtures under their belt and they get a vein of form going, just with football actually being on for them. And the price he's at now for under 23 defender, I think is pretty noteworthy. Now, if you look at Colorado last season, they actually did really well. They didn't play as many games. They had a lot of COVID forfeits, which I think is why the sheen has been kind of taken away from a lot of Colorado players on the platform, just because we expected their games to be called off and we've got all these negative connotations of them. But Lanlas Abubakar, alongside Danny Wilson at centre back and one or two others, has been ever present. The way Colorado are running now is they're bringing through youth. They're trying to do a Philly basically. They're just trying to bring through the youth, bring through the youth. This guy's 25. He's been there long enough in terms of playing football. He's seen as one of the more kind of settled positions in the team. So as a starting centre back, again, a solid team that did pretty well considering they lost matches to COVID. Again, the sort of price you're looking at, he's around the same levels as John Mensah. At 25 years old, you've got much more mileage out of him than you will a Mensah. And again, very stable, very credible in that league. Now, when you think Orlando, you'll be forgiven for just thinking about Nani, of course. Now, Orlando, they were so unlucky this year. They got really far in MLS's back tournament. I'm pretty sure they got to the final. And in the playoffs, we had that horrible penalty shootout situation with the sub-goalkeeper and putting a defender in goals and all that crap. But I think they'll have a really good season next year. I forget their manager's name, but he's a South American guy. I want to say it's Perea or something like that. And Antonio Carlos, at 27 years old, had a great season overall. You know, he's got a few reds in there and a few DNPs down to suspension and injury. But the guy has it in him big time. You know, he's got a 100 score to his name, and next season I definitely find him being one of the better defenders in the league. Orlando have been really solid since Perea came in, and I think with the guys like DK and Muller, Nani, they've got good ammunition. I see them having a really, really good season this year, and this guy will be a big part of it. Now this is a wee gambly one for you, okay? Ronald Matarrita has now left the club, okay? So this is the deputy left back. I can't say his first name, but it's for Arneson is the surname, okay? Now, as you might know already, Ronnie Dial is the manager. He likes the Scandinavian player. Despite him letting Alex Ring go, he's played this guy a fair bit. He came in for Matarrita as a sub, and whenever Matarrita didn't start, it was this guy. And he even came on his left wing a few times. But with Matarrita now leaving, I believe and I suspect he will be the first choice left back. And as you can see, when he gets minutes on the board, he's quite capable of getting really, really, really good scores. So I know there's a lot of you guys out there that love picking up these guys for pennies that turn into solid cards, and he's a contender. It's a gamble. He needs to. Now this guy is a bit of a gamble, okay? Now the reason I say it's a bit of a gamble, this is on a hunch, a wee bit of investigation, just I follow NYC quite well, so I think I'm well placed to talk about this. Ronald Matarrita has left the club after 5 years. This guy's been the deputy left back. Last season he came off the bench. If he came off the bench, it was either for Matarrita or a left winger. You can see when he does start a match, he's got the potential to hit greens quite easily. And with Matarrita leaving, I think this guy will be the starting left back this year. And I know there's a lot of you guys out there that love buying players for these penny prices and watch them get in the game, get in the team, get a good run of scores together and sell them on for a healthy profit. This guy's definitely a contender to do that. Or you can just keep him and get the benefit out of having him cheap and get some utility out of him. Now, I paid a lot of money for this guy, and as I'm looking at his average prices now, I've had a lot of good use out of him. He's won me cards and he's done great, don't get me wrong, but this guy's a solid centre back, and I actually think that is absolutely criminal how low he's going for at the moment. LAFC had a sketchy season. I think we've maybe spoken about him in another video by the time I'm recording this one. Depends on when they're released. You might not have seen it yet. But even with them being a bit sketchy, conceding goals, not winning matches, he's only got 3 reds in there. He's a very credible, very solid centre-back. I had him playing under 23s. I don't know if he'll be eligible for that when it comes back around. He's young, Colombian. LAFC have got a good transfer policy in terms of the sort of players that they attract and they sign. And I really like this guy a lot. And I cannot get away from how cheap he is now. And the scores he's got with losing matches, with conceding goals, are very credible, certainly. Wow. He looks evil, doesn't he? Now, I went for Meza. Again, similar to the reason we picked Guzan. I just think with... he's not even got an SR or a unique yet. That's interesting. But I think with the Heinze situation coming in, I think this guy being Argentinian, he's probably in line to play more games. He is listed on SoRare data as a starting centre-back. But as you can see, he's got enough DNPs in there that may worry you. But you know what it's like. Argentinian manager comes in. Whereas all the Argentinians, I'm more likely to get a bond with you quicker. I'm more likely to get you playing the football I want to play. So I can see this guy starting and doing pretty well. And again, the sort of price you can find him for. If Atlanta are to go on this year with the new manager, with Joseph Martinez back in the team, Barco's settled back, Barco, we hope he's settling, has got better, and with the striker around him, he can do better. The whole club does better, and then these rock solid centre backs, their scores should improve as a consequence. And at 0.032 for a team that is likely to get the playoffs and to go far in the playoffs, I think is an absolute bargain. Now, before me doing this video, I was actually under the impression, I thought, you know what, I've got a lot of US goal defenders. But as I looked at my gallery and I was scrolling through it, I don't really actually have that many. But all the ones I do have all get used all the time, whether it be for under 23s, globals, or the American division. I make good use of them all, and that's why it feels like I've got a lot more than I do. So it's definitely a strategy I would recommend for your under 23s and your global all-stars, because these guys can be very useful in these other settings as differentials, especially guys like maybe a Harrison Affil. We've not really spoke too much about fullbacks as such, but mainly centre backs we've been talking about, but a lot of these guys have got the ability to score very credibly and help you get those really good scores that will get you prizes and get you places. If you've enjoyed the video, guys, as always, like, subscribe, share, and retweet, all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.